beautifuls and beloveds. I hope this finds you well today on this third day of March. We have a whole bunch of material to cover today. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wow, let's see if we can get through all this. This one's a pretty big one. So, alright, so we've been doing little, what do you call it, polls and surveys on my hair. Just for the fun of it. So I do have some experience, my fingers crossed behind my back, some experience with color, cutting, and doing all sorts of things with hair. I admit I am a hair junkie. I love hair, I love the makeup thing, and I didn't start out that way. It just kind of grew on me as I got older. And I found that I was very interested in all things with hair and design, you know, teen, even younger than that, especially clothing design. So in the midst of playing around with colors, so this is a very brilliant jewel tone cobalt blue. I totally love it, but it can look almost black, and it's velvet, so it's really shimmery, and I love it. So we wanted to use this kind of an effect in my hair. So you have ombre, sombra, you have balayage, am I saying that right? And just so many different techniques, and I'm not proficient with all of them, but I am learning a lot, and I'm like a chemist at heart. I don't really, how can I say it? It's just interesting to me. So, you know, I know how to mix colors and come up with really cool things. And so we play around with my hair from time to time and see what looks best with lighting on stage, photo shoots, whatever, at this point. But no, I'm a natural redhead. And I do have a lot of blonde in my hair. And it's in streaks, and I'm sure you've seen the videos, and we're doing it for documentation to show that we're not full of hot air on any level. And I had them in my, look at my younger pictures, you know, my little pink tutu one, the little thing on my head, the tinsel headband. You can really see it in that one. And you know, my mom knew how to cover it, and it was pretty much using very heavy deep set bangs, and it was in style then, so it worked. But you know, as time went on, I was like, oh no, I don't like being called a skunk. So you know, one thing led to another, and but you know, I have a lot of different tones of red in my hair, and we were looking at my photos, we were looking at my family's photos. Where did the red come from? Anyway, we're just having a lot of fun with it. So we've been trying this really cool ombre, sombra, I get them confused, but with putting very deep, I don't know if you can see it, very deep, like a mahogany. Obviously that's not my natural hair color. I don't think anybody has mahogany, but it's like a jewel tone mahogany, and it blends slowly, and we're just playing around with it to give it more depth and more brilliance, and yeah, so it's been fun. But anyway, so yeah, oh god, I am a natural redhead, and I was born a strawberry. I was a little strawberry, you know that story, right? And we were going through my baby book. My mom detailed it. I was her little baby doll, and she was still a teenager, and that was the thing then. All her girlfriends were having babies, so she wanted to have a baby, and I'm in her wedding pictures, let's just put it that way. And you know, here, I was way too young to be her flower girl, let's put it that way. But yeah, so my dad was a very bright blonde, and my mom had the beautiful deepest raven with chestnut, and she had like burgundy highlights, really like red, even redder than this, highlights in her hair naturally. And so I'm a cross between a blonde and somebody who has almost pitch black hair. Pretty interesting. So yeah. I love it. So all of my brothers, I have no sisters, but all of my brothers, we all have all different hair colors. So it's pretty amazing what genetics can do. So yeah, I'm just having so much fun right now with that. Okay, so why are we talking about hair? Because I often get mistaken for princess, and I'm not talking about my behavior being finicky, although I can be. I am talking about when I'm in a certain place, and I haven't been for a long time because I'm kind of like doing my own little, what would you call it, boycott. I often get asked, which princess are you? I often get mistaken for, well, it's obvious. I don't have to say which ones, but basically, you know. And yeah, I always found that interesting. And so I always have to break the hearts of many and say, no, no, I'm not. I think I am, but I'm not. But I can be your princess if you'd like. That's totally fine. It's always a sweet little thing. What else? Yeah. So, hair, princess, and I'm making a part 4 to Princess Factor and Evil Queen Quotient. And I'm kind of making a little addendum to that title, and I'm calling it the Evil Queen Cycle or Quotient, because I was finding out that it can kind of cycle onto itself unless you stop the cycle, like the cycle of abuse. And sure, there could be an abusive facet to this. Why does this keep white balancing? It must be on auto. We're gonna have to correct that. You see that? It does a white balance, a color balance. So weird. Anyway, so I wanted to follow up with a part 4, and I am doing a subtitle called Little Cinder Snow Beauty. What does that mean? It's basically a lot of the top princesses in one name, one word. And I'm continuing on with point G because I left off at point F. So you're going to have to watch the first part and see where we left off. Yeah, I don't want to make this an extremely long video. Try to get it done in just one shoot, maybe about 20 minutes. So let's see what we can do here. So, the Little Cinder Snow Beauty. What is that? Basically, it's a princess. It is a real-life princess here on this planet. And, you know, we do have some royalty left in our world, but not much. It's mostly figurehead type positions, which, you know, depending on how you look at it, good, bad, indifferent. I'm not going to address that in this video, but I'm showing you different elements that are found within that folklore, fairy tale, or is it real life as well? Let's see, shall we? They create an orphan scenario most often. If you read all the older fairy tales, you see other people's renditions and takes on their personal viewpoint on the fairy tales. They always have, or more than not, an orphan scenario. So there's different things that are good and bad about that. One, you get to find out about that character and you keep the focus. You drive the focus to the princess or the princesses, the prince, whatever. And it puts them in a very precarious situation if they don't have mom and dad to reach out to. So it can be a vehicle for storytelling, which makes it very convenient and easy, and you give a good plausible reason as to why your main heroine is in such a mess. But they're often isolated. Isolation causes, well, it can cause a lot of things. If you have a strong-willed character, like me, you don't necessarily have to cling to the mom and say, where are my apron strings, I'm not ready to let go until you're 70. Okay, at some point you have to get over being an orphan, because we're all going to be orphans at some point if we outlive our parents. So you have to actually apply it to the right age group and, you know, not try to say, oh, I feel like an orphan. you know, you grow up, and I hope you do mentally, and realize that at some point you do have to be a grown up and be there for your children if you have them, or in a very loving sense, if you don't have your own children, that you adopt, or you can unofficially adopt, or I like to say, you know, my little babies, when I teach, they're kind of my children, not in a usurping way over their parents, but, you know, for that time, you want to be very loving and nurturing and parental. So that's one way to look at it. But with isolation, what do the bad guys often do in these stories? So they take advantage of the one being alone, because let's face it, it's easier to bully the one than the group. They never target the group. They can't target the group. That's why I'm like, I'm not alone in this whole thing. These corporations got some new things coming for them. Let's put it that way. We have a lot of people, and so if you attack me, you're attacking several people, and making their lives easier by giving my board members, family members gifts and jobs and all these things. It ain't gonna sway them. Okay, let's just get that straight. And yes, I'm gonna be a little bitchy and snide throughout this whole thing because I have enemies, guys. I can't be nice to them. But for you, my beloved, please excuse me, this is not directed at you. Okay, so let's continue, shall we? So, number 2, like I said, it's easier to attack. I kind of combined 1 and 2 together. 3, vulnerable, and they are put in need of rescue. They are always put in harm's way. And they're vulnerable because they either just lost their parents or their parents are abusive. It breaks the status quo, and that is a story vehicle. You rattle it up a little bit, and you make them have to be rescued. Remember this. I'm going to circle this word here so I don't... Hello. Come off. So I don't forget. Need of rescue, and we're going to get back to that in just a moment. And because they're in such a desperate place, they are more apt to wed Prince Charming or anybody that comes along because they just want to get out of harm's way. I think my mom kind of did that a few times. Did I do that? No, I actually loved my husband, and I wasn't escaping anywhere because I had already escaped out on my own. No man rescued me. Let's get that straight. I think I rescued the man, which is an interesting role reversal. But let's deal with facts, shall we? So, if you are more apt to marry Prince Charming, let's look at who Prince Charming can be. Okay, so I made a flowchart. Do you know what a flowchart is? It's very mathematical and logical, and it's used in computer programming. My mother excelled at it, and apparently I have her abilities, and so do my homies. And with a flowchart, what you do is you have a point A, or where 1, where you start. And you have a little graph, and basically all the different possibilities. If yes, then all these possibilities can happen, and it just keeps branching out. Like, you have a tree trunk, that's one solid item, and then you have all of its limbs, tendrils, right? Interestingly enough, roots are just as complicated as the limbs. One is underneath that you don't see, and one is up in the air for everybody to take part of and to view. So I find all of this very interesting, how the middle is still a solid piece. And just one unit. But everything else, below and above it, many different portions. It's a support system for the one, under and above. So I don't know exactly where I'm going with that yet. I'm probably going to do another video on that. I need to think about that for a little bit, but it's very interesting to me. So actually I'm going to make a notation to get back to the tree because I really like where I'm going with that. So all you people who think you're going to steal from me, tough luck. Okay, so the flowchart. We're going to do the different options. Now there's so many different options that a princess can choose if they are having to be put in a place of needing rescue. They can, I have 1, 2, 3 points. Is that all I have? There are more than just this, but just basic points. If the princess chooses point H, save yourself. Save yourself. Princess. Can you do it? Oh, if you're wise, that's the best choice. This is the one you're going to choose. Save yourself. I would choose this each and every time. Then you have power and control. Okay, so part of saving yourself, being a princess, is you have to upgrade and update your crown. How many times have you heard me say it? That's like in my books, and that's my thing. So I have t-shirts made with that. Nobody steal that because I will sue you so quickly. With pleasure, too. And you don't want to become an evil queen. Be careful here. We're going to get to that because that's part of this whole cycle. Okay, be a queen, one of love, beauty, and strength. Okay, don't do to others what they did to you in an evil sense. If it was good, cast out as much goodness from you onto others. That's fine. Trust no one, but love all. Why is that? Because everybody, they have an asking price. They do. Everybody wants something. No kidding. You know, I want my freedom. I want to be left alone in a sense. But I don't have an asking price for that. I'm going to get it legitimately, legally, so nobody can come back at me and bother me ever again in this area. Okay? So trust no one but love all. That's a struggle. Let me tell you something. I don't do it perfectly all the time. But you must. It's a mandate. So, what if they choose I? Holy crap. You know, this is an easy way out. You marry the prince. What happens after Prince Charming? Or your version of it, right? I don't know. You got a tall, dark, and handsome, like I said, or it could be your version of it. And this person's all you ever wanted. So be careful here because this is where abuse can set in. You know, the narcissist. You're the empath. They have apaths around you and they use the apath to attack you. You know, that's really horrible. They look like Prince Charming to everyone else, and before you're married they do, and then they totally backstab you. 3, they could be a male Black Widow, purposely hired to marry into the family to either ruin your family because you know something or you have some kind of interesting inheritance. There's a lot of factors there. So be careful. And don't be desperate. See, they prey on desperation because you just want to get out of your need of rescue. Happily ever after facade. What is that? Well, thinking that the grass is greener and that person is going to rescue you. That's why I said rescue yourself, princesses. Update and upgrade your crown and be your own queen. Right here. Be your own queen. Be your own rescuer. Be your own. Be your own everything. And then you don't have to rely on anybody and you won't get disappointed anymore. And you'll be that much smarter because look at all these things you'll be good at. Now, this is interesting too. These people who are purposely put into people's lives have a very twisted sense of humor. So say if your name is Happy. Yeah, as in one of the dwarves. Happy. Well, say if you marry somebody called, I'm not going to say a real name, but Mr. somebody, Mound. And your name becomes Happy Mound. Do you see what I'm saying? I've heard some really interesting ones before, and I'm like, I've heard people say, oh, God has a sense of humor. And I'm like, no, I think the corporations have a sense of humor. I'm going to get to that in another video, but I found that very interesting. Look, just don't do it. Why? Because your heirs are depending on you. The world is depending on you. Each one of us who are in this predicament. Just don't enable these people. If you choose J, that's when you become the evil queen. Maybe you get married. Maybe you don't. That doesn't matter so much. But this is what happens. They try to take over the world because they don't want anybody over them. If you're your own queen, be careful here. Because like I said, don't trust anyone, but keep that love in your heart. Trust no one but love all, okay? It can be done. I'm doing it. 2, they like to live vicariously through another, guess what? Princess. And this is where a very abusive cycle can set in. Be very careful, beautifuls and beloveds. Don't set yourself up for this. Don't become this. Really. I think save yourself and upgrade your crown and update your crown from a princess to a queen. Be your own hero, okay? Be your own heroine in your own story. My grandmother used to say, you know what? You only have one life to live, basically. You might as well make it a bestseller. You are the author of your own life. May as well write a bestseller. And I have that in my book, and why she said that to me. Because you do have some authority in your own life. And I'm not saying for all of you who have faith in God that you're above God. But let's face it, there's a lot of people out there that know what the fairy tale issue of Christianity is, and they will take advantage of it in your life. They tried to do it with me, and it can be very, very hazardous and destructive. So believe in God, be faithful to God. I'm not saying not to be, but be very careful. Don't just say, oh, I prayed about, and you leave it there. Well, no, you have to be active with your faith, because faith without deeds and deeds without faith is dead, according to the scriptures. So you have to be active in listening and do what he tells you to do. And you can avoid marrying the wrong person. You can also avoid becoming an evil queen. Another element is that they try to ruin princesses to become an evil queen. In other words, their intention is, the whole world is going to burn if I have to, type of attitude. And they will try to do to you the very thing that was done to them. Because, hey, they weren't successful. They chose the Prince Charming thing, or they chose to become the evil queen. Sometimes it isn't even conscious. It's just they were so hurt. You know, wounded people wound other people unless they are mature enough in here and in here to kind of grow up. Everything that my parents didn't give me, I had to give to myself. That is a healthy, emotionally sound, logical human being. Don't keep wallowing, oh my God, they didn't do that. Okay, yeah, give yourself time, wallow if you must. Get over it as soon as you can, though. These people are obnoxious. Oh my goodness, you remember yesterday? I'm sure you could hear it. It was like pound, pound, pound. Anyhow, so that is my little segment on the Princess Factor, Evil Queen Quotient, or Cycle. So Evil Queen Quotient, Evil Queen Cycle. And you see how it can keep looping? Because if you choose Evil Queen, or if you choose to marry the prince, you're just going to keep feeding that, because you must find an outlet. Abusers have to abuse unless you heal it. I had to do it. I didn't want to go down this evil queen path. I do want to be the queen that represents love, beauty, and strength and helps others. I don't want to be evil and wicked and do to others what was done to me, unless it's a loving, beautiful thing. So, beloveds, make the right choice. If you want to know more about what I think about these things, you must buy my book then. I'm only allowed legally to give you a little brief overview, but this is my stuff. You steal, you're going to have a problem. So we're going to go on to the next video soon, and yeah, take good care, and much love to you, beautifuls and beloveds. Thank you for your time, and keep dancing. So, real quick, we are putting little dancey, as much as I can kind of move, segments in between, or in the beginning of all these things. So, or maybe we'll tag the video with some too, just so we can really incorporate the Dance Warrior. I always forget to do this. Hi, I'm Noelle Rose Anderson Kale. I'm married. Oh my God, I'm such a dork. I'm the Dance Warrior, Noelle Rose, and I am here to help encourage you through life and give you some dance tips and all that great stuff. So I am the Dance Warrior, helping you through all these things. I am raw, real, and uncensored. Oh my gosh, that's so much to say. I think maybe we can just make a cue card. Do I have to say it all the time? All right, well, I do love you guys. So take care and be well, be sweet, and do no harm. Bye.